I was hoping it was just a dream. The hard bench and bars let me know that it's not. I'm really in jail instead of watching a movie cuddled up with Mark. Well, until he starts snoring in my ear. He always falls asleep on that couch, regardless of the movie. I would play in his curly hair while he sleeps with his head in my lap. I can even see Bruster trying to jump on the couch with us. Not an easy task with his short terrier legs. I would give anything to be there right now. That's the last good memory I have. It all changed when Netflix and chill came to an end with a high-pitched screeching sound that erupted from our sound system last night. Now here I sit, trapped in this cage with the world falling apart just outside those bars. The roaring is getting closer now. But it's not like I couldn't see this coming. What I never understood was how zombies or the thought of zombies became such a fascination in this country. I assume it's a relatability factor. It's easy to see the attraction to mindless, roaming bodies. It's a representation of ourselves with social media taking over our lives and backed up by mindless TV worship. The funny thing, and pretty ironic I must say, is that's how it all started. This alleged zombie apocalypse began with entertainment. Have you ever heard the old saying, "Don't watch too much TV, it'll rot your brain"? Well, yep. Apparently, there was some truth to that statement. And it's too late to do anything about it. It had to be that weird sound. Here's how I got into my current predicament. I only went to get some gas. Mark was asleep, so I figured I could get gas now and not worry about it in the morning. The station isn't far from our place. I typically pay at the pump to accumulate my rewards points in the hopes of gathering at least a free tank of gas. But seeing as though it'll take me about a year's worth of fill-ups just to get one measly free tank, the math doesn't add up. I would literally have to spend $1,300 a year just to get one free tank of gas, and that's if gas stays the same price the whole year, which we know that won't happen. I guess it's the competitor in me. I refuse to not give up, especially since I had at least 4 more months left. But because my paycheck hasn't hit my bank account yet, I'm resorting to having to go inside and pay with cash. Luckily, I keep a $20 dollar bill in my car at all times. I walk around to look for snacks. I got excited because they had my favorite tacos, fuego flavored. I grabbed a bag for me and Mark and got in line. This old guy was holding up the line. Oh my God. What the hell, dude? He doesn't even know his PIN number. He's just swiping the card over and over again. The cashier has this blank look on his face too. I yell at the cashier, "Can't you just run it as credit?" He raises his eyes to meet mine, but they're still empty. I got totally frustrated between the old man who can't use a debit card and the stoned cashier that I put the chips on a shelf and begin to walk out. I'll just fill up the morning. As I'm walking out, I see my car peeling off out the parking lot. Fuck my life. I was beyond pissed now. But then I realized that I was the dumbass that kept the car running while I went in. Double fuck my life. I remember thinking this is a very nice area and no one would ever take my car. I started to run behind the car, but it was pointless. I couldn't even see who the asshole was that stole it because of the 5% tint on my windows that Mark had installed. Yeah, great idea, honey. I called Mark to see if he could come pick me up. I couldn't believe it when he didn't answer. I called 3 times in a row and text with no luck. He must still be knocked out. I finally called 911. After being on hold for about 10 minutes, I finally got an operator. I told the operator my car was stolen. One good thing he did do was have a tracker installed on the car. Honestly, I thought it was to track me. I can pull up the app and see where it is. I pulled it up and realized the vehicle was parked only 3 blocks away, near our house. After telling the operator to send a police car to the house to see what the hell was going on, I called Mark again. Of course, no answer. I had to know what was happening, so I ran home. It took about 10 minutes to get there. Although I'm damn near out of breath, I immediately tried to gain my composure to walk up to the house. I'm sure it was the adrenaline kicking in, but when I walked up, my door was open. I went from anger to fear really quick. Something wasn't right. I knew it. I should have stayed outside and waited for the police, but I chose to go in anyway. Bruster was inside and I couldn't let anything happen to him. I creeped up the porch stairs and opened the door a little more to peek inside. It made this agonizing creaking sound as it opened, and I slowly stepped into the living room. It was dark in there and everything was off. "Mark," I whispered. "Mark," no response. "Where the hell is he?" I left the TV on when I left. For some reason, it was completely dark. Triple fuck my life. As I reached for my hall light, it wouldn't come on. The power must be out. I'm terrified by this time because my home is a long shotgun style with a super long hallway with doors on each side. That light is the only thing that illuminates the entire hall. Without that, you can't see your hand in front of your face. I grab my cell phone from my pocket and turn on the flashlight. I need the gun, and it's in our room at the end of the hallway. As I walk slowly down the hall to reach our room, I begin to regret demanding hardwood floors when we purchased this house. Each step brought an extra creaking of the wood. I'm walking down the hall and I reach the door to the guest bedroom first. I remember that Mark has his baseball memorabilia in there, including an autographed bat by some baseball guy. "Sorry, Mark, but I need something for protection." I turned the knob lightly so it didn't make a sound and slowly opened the door. I slid in the room and grabbed the bat from its display. As I made my way to leave out the room door, I can hear Bruster whimpering in the kitchen. He must be hiding from whoever is here. Where the hell is Mark when I need him? Oh my God. What if Bruster's hurt? I can grab him and we can sneak out. I tiptoe towards the kitchen as quietly as I can, trying to avoid the creaky spots of the floor. I heard a Bruster let out a loud squeal. I start to run in with my bat raised in both hands and my makeshift flashlight gripped in my fingers as tightly as I can. I scream as my light from my phone shined on a horrific sight. Someone was hovered over Bruster, covered in blood. I could see Bruster's little white body flailing about as this monster of a man digs his hands into my poor puppy's belly, dragging out intestines in the process. Not only is he ripping him apart, but he's pulling his guts into his mouth, making a low growling noise in the process. I can't handle the thought and scream even more as I bring down my bat with a fury I never knew I had in me to do. I smash it down over and over again into his head until he stops eating my baby. The man then falls to the floor after the 10th or so swing. It happened so fast that I don't remember how many times I hit him. I dropped to the floor still gripping the bat and cried because of not only what I just witnessed but what I had done. This monster was eating my baby. When I looked over at the crushed skull of this psycho, I realized that the matter mess I created was matted curly hair, Mark's curly hair. Just as the shock set in, I see two police officers rushing in with guns and flashlights in hand. I'm just crying and screaming at this point. I begin to slowly realize that the lights and guns were pointed at me. They were yelling, "Drop the bat or we will use force if necessary." I dropped the bat and they rushed me to the floor. They pushed me face down on the floor in the bloody mess and handcuffed me. They then lifted me to my feet and proceeded to take me to their cruiser. I'm pleading with them, "Please officers, just wait. I called you guys." He was eating Bruster. I can't believe he ate him. "Shut up," one officer yelled at me as they shoved me in the car. We drove to the substation. All the while, I'm begging the officers to listen to me. "Ma'am, we read you your rights. You might want to be quiet until then." He tells his partner who's driving, "This bath salt shit is getting out of control." They had another call like this in Ridgeway an hour ago. We arrive to the substation and the two officers jump out the car. They open my door and grab me by the back of my arms. "Don't try anything stupid, lady," he says to me. They bring me to a holding cell, closed the door, and made me back up to the bars so they can take off my cuffs. I ask the officer, I need to make my call. He barks back at me, "You'll get your call when we're ready to give it to you." He leaves me there, in the cell by myself. I just can't believe what's happening right now. My boyfriend ate my dog and now these cops think we were on bath salts. They think I'm a murderer. This can't be happening. Just as the panic of being in this cell sinks in, that's when the yelling starts. I can hear officers yelling at people to drop to the ground and put their hands being their head. Not long after, shots are fired. Then more shots. Next thing, these blood-curdling screams begin to erupt from the station. I can hear growling and the screams of me and women, screaming for their lives. The sounds are deafening. Now I just hear the roaring from that direction. A low roaring mixed with gurgles. That's when I notice the TV that's barely an eyeshot of my cell, mounted in the office portion of this station. It emits this loud beep for an emergency broadcast. The local news reporter tells everyone to stay inside. We're under attack. A sound wave was emitted from broadcasting outlets that triggered a cannibalistic reaction in some people. The FBI speculates that this sound, coupled with chemical sprays from enemy chemtrails spread over the country, is responsible for the outbreak. No groups have claimed responsibility for the attack as of yet. Again, remain in your homes until help can be dispatched to your area. Cannibalistic reaction? Is that what we're calling the end of days now? They don't have to worry about me leaving anywhere. Not while I'm locked in this cell. Can't say fuck my life anymore. I'm not really sure how long I'll have my life at this rate. I can hear roaring coming closer with some sort of slow shuffle coming towards my cell. It's the officer that locked me in here. Half of his face is gone. WTF. I want to scream but cover my mouth instead. I don't want more of these things here. I spoke too soon. More shuffling is making its way towards my cell. They roar as they start clawing at each other, trying to find a way through the bars. More and more begin to arrive, with all sorts of missing appendages. Guts hanging out, missing eyeballs, eaten away arms and legs are just a few things I have the misfortune of seeing. And the smell, it's the worst thing I've ever smelled in my life. So here I sit, with the zombie apocalypse waiting just a few feet away. Who's going to find me now? Oh well, this'll probably be my last post, guys. My phone is at 17%. Fuck my life, the little I have left.